This is the Skylight Calendar. It's a smart touchscreen calendar that helps you stay organized. So when Skylight reached out to sponsor a video, I was like, bet, I've already got one. I was gonna review it anyway, so here we go. That being said, all of the thoughts and the opinions that are expressed in today's video are my own. They didn't tell me what to say. They didn't give me a list of features that they wanted me to talk about, but they didn't say like, say it's good or say it's bad. I'll tell you guys honestly what I think. They also asked me to compare it to the leading competitor, Hearth, which we'll do in a minute, so you guys get a good idea of what the Skylight can do well and what the Hearth can do well. And again, I actually grabbed this device with my own money back in November because I kept getting Instagram ads for it, and I'm like, actually, that looks pretty cool. So I grabbed it, tried it out, and me and my wife really love it. So in today's video, I'm gonna go over all the features that the Skylight Calendar has, the things I really like about it, and of course, we're gonna compare it to the Hearth calendar later on in the video. So the Skylight Calendar actually comes in 3 different sizes. You've got a 10-inch, a 15-inch, which is the one I have here, and a 27-inch. The 10-inch is the cheapest, and it usually retails for $169. However, they're having a Mother's Day sale right now, I think, so everything's a little bit cheaper than it usually is. The 15-inch comes in at a retail price of $299, but again, I think it's on sale right now, and of course I'll have links in the description below and probably on the YouTube shopping tab. The 27-inch usually retails for $599 if you buy it without a plus plan, and if you buy it with the plus plan, it comes in at $569, but of course you're paying for the subscription. You're essentially buying a tablet or a smart station when you purchase this device. Now I'll be honest, that's one thing that I don't love about smart calendars in general. They all generally have subscriptions. And while yes, in pretty much every case, and specifically in Skylight's case, the subscriptions do add a lot of value, I don't like that for some calendars, which we'll talk about later, you're required to get a subscription. What I really like about the Skylight is that you can buy it and use it without the subscription, but if you want to get the most out of your tablet, it does help to get the subscription. So as far as subscription price goes, you can get a slightly cheaper rate for $79 a year, which is about 22 cents a day or $6.50 a month. So the Skylight can sync up with all of your favorite calendars like the Apple Calendar or the Google Calendar, which is what I have here. I've got like 3 different calendars, all color-coded on this device, which I really love. My wife and I personally use this the most in month view because it allows us to get a really good idea of how the month looks overall, but you're not stuck with just month view. You can change it to day view or week view. Now, one thing I really love about smart calendars is that when you add an event on your phone or maybe another device that's connected to the calendar, it automatically updates the calendar and you see it pop up on your calendar display. And what I love about this personally within our family is that if there's something going on that maybe I haven't told my wife about yet or she hasn't told me about yet, we can add it to the calendar, it'll pop up and she will literally see it pop up. Say maybe I'm in a meeting or something and I need to add another meeting later that day. I can literally just add it in my phone while I'm still in the meeting, it pops up in the calendar and there you go. Of course, the calendar is color-coded based on the person, or in our case, the calendar. I have yellow as my business calendar and blue as the family calendar. Now, another feature that we use literally all the time are to-do lists. Well, technically on the Skylight calendar, they're called tasks, but they're essentially to-do lists. And what's great is that you can set it up based on the person or whatever category you want to do. In our case, we have chores, which is something that both me and my wife do, and then my daughter's schedule, which is again something both me and my wife do. But it's nice because, say for example, if I want to take out the trash, or in this case, I haven't actually taken out the trash yet today. Maybe unclick that. Maybe she took it out. I don't know why it's clicked, but it's clicked. You can either click something or unclick something so that next time someone comes past the calendar, they can see, oh, Seth took out the trash, or at least someone took out the trash. Same thing with my daughter's schedule. I know if my wife's already brushed her teeth or fed her or something like that, so I know not to go ahead and give her that extra cup of milk. That being said, this is a great calendar to use when you have children that are a little bit older because they have tasks and they have rewards and things like that, which I haven't really dived into yet because my daughter is like just over a year, so she's not doing chores yet. But when she does, there's a lot of really cool chore and reward features on this device that allow you to make sure that your daughter or your son or whoever it is doing the chores that you want them to do. It allows you to see the things that you need to get done visually, which I love, and then when you've completed everything, you get a nice little smiley face, which is a nice little dopamine hit. I'm not gonna lie, it's nice. When I see that little smiley face, I'm like, cool, we did it. Of course, you can set up the tasks and the to-dos and things like that right on the device or do it on your phone. It doesn't matter either way. We did it right on our device. We actually keep this right in our kitchen, like right next to our mixer actually. And it's perfect because it's a very central location, so we always see it when we walk into the kitchen. Actually, speaking of that, one thing that I really love about the Skylight calendar is that you can use it either horizontally like this, which is actually how we use it, or vertically like this if you have a smaller space you want to mount it in, or maybe just it looks better vertical. In addition to chores and to-dos, you also can do grocery lists. So say you're missing something, type it in on the calendar, pops up on your app. Very useful, although we don't use that feature as much. It's nice to know that we have it. And something else is that you can invite multiple people to your calendar from the app. So say for example, if you want to invite your wife, in my case, that was the only person I invited. I don't need my family-in-law or my extended family seeing our daily to-do list, but you can do that if you want them to do that. Now what's great is that almost everything that I talked about does not require a subscription. However, if you want to get the subscription, you do get some extra features. For example, meal planning or giving out rewards, which is something I actually talked about earlier with the chore feature. feature. You can use Sidekick, which is a really cool feature that allows you to import things like events from PDFs, or even taking a picture of a flyer, imports it to your calendar directly, which is mad cool. Plus, you can also do that same thing with recipes. But the main feature that I use the most when it comes to the subscription is the photo feature. It allows you to have essentially a screensaver on your device, which you can of course import your own photos to, which is cool, which does also give you some privacy. It hides your calendar, also hides your to-do list if you have something embarrassing that you need to do every day. Now, I do have to say that I don't love that that is a subscription only feature. I kind of wish that it came right on the device, but at the same time, when I didn't have the subscription for like the first 3 months, I was happy just looking at the calendar. We didn't have anything private we wanted hidden, and we have another smart frame in our kitchen which also cycles through pictures, so I didn't feel like I needed it. But now having the subscription and using it for other things, and then actually having the photo frame on there too, I really love it. But now let's compare the Skylight to the Hearth Display. Now, for the Hearth, they only have one size. They have the 27-inch display, which personally I feel like is a little bit big. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, you can buy the 27-inch version of the Skylight if you want, but I went with the standard version because I just like the way it fits in my space better. But hey, if you wanna go big, you have the option with Skylight, and it's the only option that you have with Hearth. Now, while I think that the Hearth calendar is actually a really good calendar overall, there are things that I prefer about the Skylight that would make me choose the Skylight over the Hearth. And again, I know this is a sponsored video, but genuinely, I do believe these things. I did think these things before this video, and I'm gonna talk about them right now. The main one is that with the Hearth calendar, you need a subscription. You can't use it without the subscription. So you spend $699, but again, they are having a Mother's Day sale just like Skylight, so you can get it a little bit cheaper, but you still have to pay for that subscription. Now, subscription price-wise, it's like $9, so it's really not much more than the Skylight, but I will say that it does suck that you do have to pay for it with this, whereas you technically don't have to pay for it with this. So after using these two calendars for a little bit now, I do have to say that I prefer the Skylight screen overall better. I think the colors are more vibrant. I actually also like the UI design a little bit better. The calendar is a bit more visible. Like you can see on this one, the screen's a little bit more washed out. Not sure why. Whereas the Skylight's a bit easier to see, it's a bit brighter. Another omission with the Hearth calendar that you do get with the Skylight calendar is the fact that the Hearth isn't able to be used in horizontal mode, only vertical mode. Again, I would prefer to use it in vertical mode, but just knowing that I have the option with the Skylight is nice, especially in the smaller size. I do use it horizontally. But again, if I bought the 27-inch, I probably would use it vertically like this, so it's not a huge deal, but just know with Hearth, you can only use it vertically. But the feature that the Hearth has is that you can have photos of your family member as the actual photos or icons for each to-do list or each calendar. You don't have that in the Skylight. Instead, you have icons with like the first letter of your name. They're in a different color depending on the person. It really doesn't bother me whatsoever, but for some people, I was watching some videos about both of these calendars. They seem to really think that that was a nice feature to have. So maybe Skylight will add that in the future. But again, I don't really care. But when it comes to my own personal preference, the calendar that I would buy for myself and for my family, and that's the easiest to use in my own personal life, is actually the one that I literally did buy, the 15-inch Skylight. I just think the size is perfect, the features are excellent, exactly what I need, and the screen looks great. I really have no complaints with the Skylight. Oh, and like 3 months into owning the Skylight, for some reason the Wi-Fi stopped on it. Turns out it was actually a Wi-Fi issue at my house, but I will say that Skylight's customer service was excellent. They responded to me very quickly. They helped me with troubleshooting, and they said that they'd replace it if they needed to. I haven't had any issues with this yet, but again, I've only had this for like 2 weeks at this point, so it's not really a fair comparison, but so far, so good with the Skylight. The only issue I had wasn't even an issue from the Skylight, and customer service was great. So those are my thoughts and opinions on the Skylight calendar, specifically the 15-inch version, the one that I've owned for about 6 months at this point. I really, really enjoy it. I think for the price, you're actually getting a pretty solid device. Oh, one other thing I should note with the 15-inch is that you don't have to mount this on the wall. The 15-inch is actually small enough you can actually just prop it up against something. They give you a little stand. I did mount mine, which wasn't difficult at all, but you don't have the option with the 27-inch or the Hearth either. They're just too big not to mount. But with all that being said, those are my thoughts and opinions after owning the Skylight calendar for the last 6 months. Genuinely, I think it's very capable. I love the features that it has. I love the to-do list, and I love the calendars specifically. There are some other features that you get with the subscription and some other features that I will use once I have a daughter that's old enough to actually use them. But the features that I need it for and my wife needs it for, it's perfect. And actually something that I was really excited about was that this is the first device that I bought technically for the tech channel, even though we ended up using it for ourselves and I didn't drop a review until now. But this is the first device that I got that my wife was actually excited for. Usually I'm getting phones or TVs or whatever the case may be, and she's never that excited about it. She's just usually humoring me. Or on my main channel, I talk about sneakers all the time, and she's never excited about sneakers. Sometimes she is, but very rarely. This, she was actually like, that's really cool. I'd love to check that out. I'd love to use it. And she uses it more than I do. She probably should have been the one reviewing it, to be honest with you. But I asked her for her thoughts. She gave me her thoughts and opinions, and I relayed those to you guys. But with that being said, Great overall device, definitely check it out. Huge thank you to Skylight for sponsoring today's video. And if you guys want to check out this calendar for yourself, make sure to click the links in the top of the description below. Seriously, this thing's been great for organization. It's been amazing for getting on the same page with my wife when it comes to our schedule. That's not something we were really able to do before. I mean, we had shared calendars on our phone, but you'd have to check your phone for it. This is just sitting in your kitchen. You're able to walk in the morning, have your coffee, and be like, oh, okay, my wife is doing this today. Or, oh, Seth just dropped a video on his main channel, Seth Fowler. Check it out through the links in the top of the description below. Or, oh, I should subscribe to Tech Fowler. I don't know. So get organized in 2025. Check it out through the link in the top of the description below. I absolutely recommend it. But hey, with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.